Hello, and welcome to the Long Hill 25-26 budget presentation. I'd like to begin by recognizing the members of our Board of Education for their leadership and support. Thank you all for your continued dedication and commitment to our district. Today, I want to give you a brief overview of the budget process, focusing on the core principles that have guided our approach. Our budget isn't just a static document, it's a living, breathing plan that adapts to changing needs and circumstances. The ultimate goal is to create a sustainable budget that allows us to efficiently serve our community both now and in the future. Our district's budget is formed during a multi-month process that ensures we carefully plan for all of our students' needs. We begin in November by gathering data and looking at past trends to understand our financial picture. Throughout the winter, we work with administrators and the Finance Committee and teachers to prioritize needs and estimate costs. There's a real collaboration of efforts in Long Hill. By March, we have a tentative budget ready for review and adoption by the board. The process concludes in May with a final budget hearing and vote. This slide provides a detailed overview of the proposed operating expenses for the year. The expenses are categorized into various areas covering both instructional and administrative aspects of our district. Starting on the left, we have general ed programs for instruction as our largest expense of about $5,600,000. Significant increases are also made in special education instruction of $1,600,000 and basic skills to ensure all students receive the necessary support. Notice that our out-of-district tuition line is offset by anticipated IDEA funding, which helps to mitigate the impact on our local budget. Moving to the right, maintenance and operations and security represents a significant portion of our expenses of about $3 million, ensuring our facilities are safe and well maintained. Transportation services are another major portion of our budget at $1,400,000. And employee benefits of $4,019,000 are also a substantial expense in our budget. The total general fund operating expenses are $22,041,974, while if we include local, state, and federal programs as well as debt repayment, the total operating expenses are then $23,153,525. This slide provides a visual representation of the operating budget we just reviewed. Each slice of the pie represents a different expense category, the largest portion of our budget being 49.8% allocated to salaries. Employee benefits of 17.36% of the budget highlight the importance of providing comprehensive benefits to our employees. The slide also emphasizes the distinction between fixed and discretionary portions of the budget. 94% of our budget is fixed, with the remaining 6% representing discretionary purchases, such as instructional supplies, technology, and professional development. We carefully consider how to allocate these discretionary funds to maximize their impact on student learning and achievement. This slide provides a breakdown of the revenue sources for the 25-26 budget. The largest source of revenue is the local tax levy, accounting for 86.7% of funding. State aid represents 6.2% of our revenue and is also a crucial portion of the funding from the state government. You'll notice that the general fund revenue matches the previous slide of $22,041,000, with the total revenue equaling $23,153,000. This slide visually represents the revenue sources we just discussed to illustrate the percentage breakdown for each category. The largest portion of our revenue is the local tax levy at 86.8%, shown in the dark blue. This pie chart demonstrates the significant relevance of the local tax levy for funding our school district. It also highlights the importance of state aid and the strategic use of the reserve funds. This slide summarizes our projected state revenue for next year. We're facing a 3% decrease in overall funding due to reduction in transportation and special education aid, despite an increase in security aid. Federal grants play a crucial role in supporting various programs and initiatives within our district. As you can see, we receive federal funding from three main sources: the Individuals with Disability Act, also known as IDEA, Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA, and the National School Lunch Program. We are aware that shifts in federal policy and budget allocations can impact the amount of funding we receive. We are monitoring these developments closely and will adapt our budget as needed. This slide outlines some of the key highlights of our proposed budget. We'll be introducing a new K-8 math program designed to enhance student learning and achievement. We'll be adding an additional preschool inclusion class to provide more opportunities for early childhood education. And we're adding staffing for basic skills to provide targeted assistance to our students. These and some of the other highlights represented show our commitment to providing high-quality education for our Long Hill students. Capital expenditures coming from our capital reserve are crucial for maintaining and upgrading our facilities to ensure a safe and effective learning environment for all children. We are in the first year of a 5-year repayment plan to replace the rooftop units at Millington School through a direct install agreement. We also are continuing the repayment for our Gillette RTUs and our district-wide lighting. Utilizing the capital reserve allows us to address critical infrastructure needs without placing an additional burden on taxpayers. Maintenance reserve funds are specifically allocated for maintenance and improvement projects that enhance our learning spaces. A significant portion of these funds will be used to upgrade the Central Middle School library, transforming it into a dynamic learning common. We will also be updating classrooms at all 3 schools, including painting, installing new screens, and replacing window shades. By strategically utilizing our maintenance reserve, we are able to make essential improvements while minimizing the impact on taxpayers. Emergency reserve funds will be allocated for school security enhancements in the 25-26 budget. The safety and security of our students and staff is our top priority, and these funds will be used to implement important security measures across all schools. Utilizing the emergency reserve allows us to address critical security needs without placing an additional burden on our taxpayers. This slide outlines the current status of our district's reserve balances, including the capital reserve, maintenance reserve, and emergency reserve. All 3 reserves will be used in this budget. We are strategically utilizing our reserves to fund important projects while maintaining healthy balances for future needs. The maximum allowable tax levy increase for this year is 2%, which amounts to $369,752. We will be utilizing healthcare adjustments and bank cap to ensure that our budget accurately reflects our needs and is sustainable for the future. We have utilized $162,326 from healthcare adjustments to offset expenses. We have also utilized bank cap, which is essentially unused tax levy capacity from previous years. We used $107,442 of bank cap that was due to expire in 25-26 and $7,545 that will expire in 27-28. We will still have $347,300 in bank cap remaining for potential use in future years. This slide presents the calculation of the tax levy for the 25-26 school year, comparing it to the previous year's budget. The general fund tax levy will have increased by $647,064. The debt service tax levy, which funds our debt obligations, has also increased with a change of $16,402. The total school tax levy, which is the sum of the general fund and debt service levies, has increased $663,466.63. While the total tax levy has increased, the tax rates have actually decreased due to the increase in assessed property values. The overall impact on an average residential property is an increase of $198.61. This next slide summarizes how this budget will affect taxpayers. The total tax levy increase is approximately $663,447. For the average homeowner, this translates to an approximate increase of $198.61. This yearly increase breaks down to approximately $16.55 per month. We've provided both the annual and monthly figures to give residents a clear picture of the financial impact. This calculation is based on an average assessed home value of $622,466 within Long Hill Township. It's important to note that individual tax implications may vary depending on specific property assessments. This next slide provides a 15-year historical overview of the tax levy changes in our district. As you can see, there have been fluctuations in the tax levy over the years. In 2019 and 2020, we saw significant increases in the tax levy, reaching 5.79 and 5.93% respectively. Since then, the tax levy increase has stabilized at around the 2% mark. The proposed tax levy of 3.5% for 2025-26 aligns with the more recent trend of moderate increases and will be part of a longer-term pattern of responsible financial management. In looking at a comparative overview of the 23-24 audited budget per pupil spending across similar K-8 school districts in Morris County, as well as those that send to Watchung Hills Regional High School, we see that the Long Hill Township per pupil spending of $20,393, highlighted in green, is in the lower to mid-range of the districts sampled. This comparison highlights the investment each community makes in its students. Our budget reflects our commitment to providing high-quality education and maximizing the value we deliver to our students and taxpayers here in the Long Hill Township School District. Thank you for your time and attention. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me, Robbin Boehmer, the Business Administrator at the Long Hill School District, at the email provided. We appreciate your continued support in the education of our children.